Good evening. Shay, may we have a roll call to establish quorum? Present. And Ms. Lane will be excused from our meeting tonight. Next, may I have a motion for approval of the agenda? Okay, it has been moved by Dr. Yvonne Elliott and seconded by Ms. Maura Rio. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. All right, the agenda has been approved. Next, we will move to Riverview Excellence.
Good evening, Board of Education members, Dr. Patton, colleague, and community members.
Testing.
All right, I think we're good on the mics. Good evening again. For Riverview Excellence this evening, we have several staff members that we are acknowledging. And so if you can please stand when I mention, mention your name. First, Dr. Tiffany Hunter, the district's Director of Assessment. Dr. Hunter, can you stand? Dr. Hunter was recently selected by the Regional Business Council's Young Professionals Network for their 2025-2026 cohort, Leadership 100 cohort. Leadership 100 recognizes a select number of young professionals each year for their leadership and service to the community. So these are people that are recognized out of the entire St. Louis area. And so that there's a select few that are honored. Dr. Hunter was recognized, I believe, a couple of weeks ago at that event. And so we just want to recognize her for that acknowledgement and for her hard work and dedication and just bringing a bright light to Riverview Garden School District. And we'll get a photo afterwards like we always do. Next, we have the RGSD Dream Team registration crew. So if you're in attendance, if you can stand when I call your name, Kelly Harvey from Riverview Gardens High School, Chantel Hughes from Riverview Gardens High School, Darnisha Wallace from the high school, Miss Nancy Talton from the high school, Monique Bastain from the high school, Miss Jackie Nichols from Glasgow Elementary, Hailey Shepard from Moline Elementary, and LaShonda Robinson from Highland Elementary. And so these ladies are being recognized for their dedicated service. So for the past 10 weeks, maybe 11 now, they have been showing up pretty much every night, at least Monday through Thursday, at the high school to help register scholars for the school year. So they've been going to 7:30 some nights, maybe even later than that. And they've just been working hard. They've been calling parents. They've been helping parents get all of their documents. And so they've just gone above and beyond night in and night out. And so we wanted to recognize them as a group just for those efforts and getting our scholars recognized and assisting our families. And Dr. Smith may want to come say a couple words about this team and what they meant for the high school and for the district overall.
I mean, Mr. Sistrunk said everything, but like he said, these young ladies, they are there as I'm going in, going out. They're in the library. When the library is being used, they're getting moved to another room. They're getting moved to another room, and they just do it with a smile. They don't complain. They're happy to do it. They're always greeting our parents in the way that we want them to greet our parents. And he didn't lie. They are a dream team. They are excellent. They're phenomenal. And we're happy to have them at the high school, at Highland, Glasgow, all of the schools they come from. We're happy to have them. They're excellent.
All right, now if you can all come to the center. We sort of opened up a doorway. And if the board members want to come around as well, we can get a photograph.
Hi, Lynn. Yes. Okay, next.
Testing, testing.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We are doing something new here, so we're going to, it will work. We're gonna keep hope alive that it works. All right, so I'm giving an update. First of all, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm giving an update to our current enrollment. Currently, as Ishmael said, we've had centralized registration at the high school for the last, I don't know how many weeks. I think he said that. Um, open enrollment started in March of 2025, and it continues. Currently, we have 3,613 students registered. So we still have a ways to go. We are making phone calls, sending emails, social media posts, knocking on doors, phone blasts. It's on all of our marquees. It's on our electronic marquee. We're sending text messages. So we're doing all that we can to get our students
here and register. So parents, school starts on Monday. Your students must be registered to start school. So we are missing approximately 2,000 students that are not yet registered. Some of our parents may think that it rolls over and they don't have to re-register, but you have to re-register every single year. So we are, as I said, we're doing many things to get our students in. So this is a message to our parents. If you are watching, please make sure that you go on. You can register online on your own, or you can register. You can come into your child's building to register. Also, we're not doing centralized registration. That stopped as of last week, but you can go to your child's school, and registration is actually online. So our parents can register online. So that's where we are related to our current registration. I do want to speak to the Back to School Bash. It was phenomenal once again. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our volunteers who came out, all of our partners who came out to help us with the Back to School Bash. Board members were there, our parents were there. Um, Dr. Ramsdale was assigned to the bounce houses. He feels like that wasn't a fair decision. Um, but it was a lot of fun. It always is. We gave away backpacks, we gave away school supplies. So it was another fun event. So I do want to thank Ms. Liddell and the Student Services Department for organizing that. But before you clap for that, let's get to convocation. That was held yesterday, and it was another phenomenal event. We had our Gentlemen of Vision, our Family of Vision. We had middle and high school boys with the Family of Vision dancing. We had our lustrous high school choir, our Riverview Gardens School District Choir, led by Mr. Travis Ford. We had our jazz band, so we want to thank our Mr. Nowden, because he always shows up for us and always bring the students. They entertained us. We had Zanaya Moorhead and Bailey Pickett. They are students who from Gibson, best friends from Gibson. They wanted me to say that. And they did our Pledge of Allegiance. And then we brought to the microphone our very own Dr. Tiffany Hunter, who sang. She did a phenomenal job, so hats off to her. Who knew that Tiffany, she's keeping that to herself. She sang, and then we had an alumni. His name is Joshua Coleman. He was our keynote speaker, and he talked about his experience within the Riverview Gardens School District, what that meant to him, what experience shaped him, and how that helped him today. He is currently the Director of Credit Risk Review for a bank in Texas, I believe, and he holds a bachelor's degree and a master's in accounting and public administration. So let's give them a round of applause. If you miss our convocation, you missed a wonderful thing. And I will say, if you notice Joshua Coleman, the last name probably sounds familiar. That's because his mother, who was beaming from ear to ear with every word he spoke, she's still beaming. She's still beaming with every word. Would be Dr. Nikita Coleman's son. So he did a great job, and she was beaming then and is beaming now. And I'd like to say this: he flew in just to do that, and then flew back home. He lives in Texas, and he flew in specifically for us. So it was great. It was good to hear him. He was mentioning teachers that I've never met, but Miss Nave was going, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So that means she's been here for a minute, but it was just a great event, and it always is good to kick off our school year that way. And then we also had mandated reporter training, district-wide mandated reporter training, so that we can start our year off with that. First day of school, I've already mentioned, is August the 18th. That is next Monday, next Monday, next Monday, not after Labor Day, but next Monday is the first day of school. Just a reminder to our parents and to our community, we have a clear backpack policy district-wide. We have a cell phone policy in full effect. That means students should not be utilizing their cell phones during the school day. Metal detectors are at all levels. Our elementary students we will only look in their bags if the metal detector alerts. So parents, I'm asking you, anything that you believe that would set off a metal detector, sometimes it is the water bottles that they're carrying, the metal water bottles, toys that are in the backpack, things like that. So please make sure those items are not in your students' backpacks as you are sending them to school. And all visitors will also be required to walk through our metal detectors, and all bags will be screened as well. We also, over the last, well, we haven't met for a month, so we also had our Leadership Academy with all of our principals. That was led by Ms. Tracy Nave, Assistant Sup of Leadership and Accountability. That was the week of July 21st through the 25th. Our teachers returned on August the 5th, and the training for them was led by our new Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Mr. Joel Ramsdale. So they have been busy. He has also done a number of presentations along a number of training along with his department. Ms. Ross, Ms. Mott, Dr. Hunter, all of them have been participating and helping that. So I think that's all of my announcements. I could go on because we haven't met for a month, but in the interest of time, Madam President, I will stop there.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we will have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I so move.
Second.
Okay, has been moved by Ms. Moore Real and seconded by Ms. Jackson to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Approval of the consent agenda. Next, we will move into our items for discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. The first item is called Important Topics. That is Senate Bill 68. That bill includes a lot of policies and a lot of procedures that we need to review and adopt. And I just wanted to let the board know that we are already working on that. Each department head is looking through Senate Bill 68 to pull out things that will fall under their responsibility. And so we will be, some of these items will be put in place this school year. Some will be put in place in the 26-27 school year, and then some even later than that. But I just wanted to bring that bill to your attention. That does include our cell phone policy. It includes the Stop the Bleed Act. It requires us to have our defibrillators throughout our district. It requires us to have a comprehensive emergency plan. So a lot of the things we will start to update. A lot of the requirements will be updated. And so as we move throughout the school year, I will share more information related to Senate Bill 68. Moving into items for discussion. Our first item up for discussion are board norms. And I'm going to hand that over to Board President, Ms. Williams.
Thank you very much. Board norms are, it's how we operate as a board. And so we currently have board norms that were developed and agreed upon by the board a few years ago. And so the board would like to update the norms that we have. And so I would like to start by just asking each board member, which norms would you like to be a part of our new document? And we will have discussion at this meeting, and then we will vote to approve them at our next meeting. Okay? And Shay, if you could take notes for us on the different norms that each board member.
Well,
Ms. Moore
what
Real?
I did was I actually read the document that we discussed at the meeting that we had. And to me, that basically encompassed all of the norms that we previously listed as you read through it. But the norm that I would like us to improve upon is the one that talks about the time that we should be at the meeting. In an effort for us to begin to really start our closed sessions on time, I would like to change that time from 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Where it says, where is it at? On item number 3, number 2, board members will arrive 10 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Because a lot of times we have difficulty with computers and what have you. And just taking into consideration the length of time that staff has already been here, the quicker that we can start on time, the quicker we can leave. That's the one.
Okay. Any other board members have any other norms that you would like to submit? While you're thinking about that, I would like to submit one, and I think it needs, although it's part of Robert Rules of Order and that is what we operate under, I do think we need to list it as a norm, and that is when a board member would like to speak, that they wait to be acknowledged by the chair. So in our Robert's Rules of Order, and we all went to training, you would say Madam Chair or Madam President before you start speaking. And I think that's a great way to make sure that people are getting equal time and to take turns and make sure we're not speaking over each other. So that's a norm I would like to add, that we follow what's in Robert Rules of Order, which is a way to be recognized by the chair. And the language is Madam President or Madam Chair. So that's the one I would like to add.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
the piggyback off of, your statement, I think if we just include the norm that we would follow Robert's Rule of Order, I think it's all encompassing as far as the protocol piece, the non-decorous behavior, where people talk over others or even answer, because you're not in debate where you're doing exchanges between two people. Everything's supposed to be addressed to you,
Right.
and then you answer. So I think that just following Robert's Rule of Order would be the norm in general. But I also feel that the ethics that we now have attached really is where it includes the language that we should honor or include in the norms. And I would say specifically, let's see,
The ethics that's in the policy.
yes, it's a link that's
Right.
right there, that speaks to the duty of care, duty of loyalty, and duty of public trust. Maybe instead of listing everything that's specifically in there, that we just include that, that we would abide by the school board member ethics as our moral. So then we can reference that entire document versus listing everything that's in there. So that would be the norm. BBF, it's on the, attached, she asked for.
It's, yes, BBF.
And
I'll wait till she. Oh,
Dr. May, were you finished?
I was just trying to think, you can move on. I was just trying to look at something that I had considered.
Okay, we can.
Well, I do have commentary, on the 5-minute part. I think whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, if it's an issue with that person, then changing the time won't matter. So I think that we should have a protocol of the chair or someone actually addressing people individually for practices, because it won't change. You know, if it's 5 or 10, it's not gonna change whether or not that person is late. But there should be a system of addressing that if that is the case, you know, or if it's.
I agree.
Yeah.
So and just to respond to you, Dr. May, in the one document that we had in our Team of 8 training from the Clayton School District, it talked about all board members holding each other accountable. So as much as the chair could address it, individual board members could also address.
I think it says that in pretty much.
It's in the document.
But you're making another point, and I would like for there to be a norm that that board members address individual concerns directly with that board member, instead of just to address issues, you know, individually, and bring it to the board when a resolution has not been found, instead of the board being first and never having that conversation with that person.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Moore Real.
Yeah, the only other suggestion that I had too, I thought about it after reading this, and that is that, suggestions or ideas should be given to the board president to share with the superintendent and not to River regarding staff. I know sometimes we might say, this is a suggestion that I have, a blah, 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 but it should really go to you to discuss the possibility of sharing them. So that was just something.
Yeah, there was another one in this document that was similar, and it was about board members, and we don't have to include this as a norm, but it was about board members reaching out to individual staff in district versus going to superintendent first. That was also a good practice that I read in this document. Any other suggestions or ideas regarding the norms? I like the norms that we already have. I like the number one about the cohesive team. I think we should keep those three. Pause to hear all voices after someone speaks. Consider all opinions. Assume positive intentions.
Yeah, I'm asking them to
Okay.
turn up,
But the
turn
volume
up
is
the
fine.
volume.
Really couldn't hear it.
Okay, you want me to start over? Okay, yes, that's better. All right. So I was saying, I was suggesting that we keep the norms we have, the first section, cohesive team, number one through three. I think those are all good. Pause to hear all voices after someone speaks, consider all opinions and assume positive intentions. I think that goes a long way, in terms of our norms. Dr. May?
The one about, number one about outside entities, the wording of not, making decisions not based on individuals' opinions, I think that there is information that is shared that is that person's individual opinion that influences our decision, whether it's based, fact is not always the consideration of a decision. So like, for example, there's a fact that we know about, grant information. But if we have to make a decision that says, do we accept the grant or not accept the grant, that person expresses their opinion about that, and we make a decision based on that opinion. So that, how it's worded, is kind of like limiting the fact that your persuasive debating ability is at play when you're a legislator. So it's kind of restrictive to say that we're not making a decision based on somebody's opinion, individual opinion, when that does influence our decision. I think the wording it does not capture, a democratic process.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, when we wrote that particular one, that line, that
Mike.
says,
Use your microphone.
oh, I'm sorry.
Turn it
If I
on, Dr.
recall
Coleman.
correctly, when we wrote that particular,
I think it's on.
Board of Education decision.
Dr. Coleman, I'm not sure if your microphone, is it ready? Okay.
Will be based
There you
on, is that better?
Yes.
Facts, policies, and procedures, not individuals' opinions or requests. If I recall correctly, when we said that, we were talking about the opinions and requests of outside entities, because we had some outside people that were trying to force their opinion and their way of thinking on us. And so we were saying, using their title or who they were to say, you guys need to do this, you ought to do this, you should have approved this person or that person. That's what we were talking about. It wasn't talking about the board members. It was talking about those outside people. Like, for instance, if you want to say, when we voted to approve the lunch program, and there was a outside entity that wanted us to go with another program, and they were trying to force that up on us. That's what we were, because I was here when we wrote that, and that's what we were thinking in that particular meeting. Dr. May, I don't think you were there that day, but yeah, that's what we were talking about. That's how we were addressing that.
Okay, Madam Chair, I think so So based on that, it can also be a form of contradiction if we're also welcoming input from the community. It's just that we have to be selective in the, I guess, how we make a decision based on that input, because we do welcome community input, but I think it's about people who make demands. I think that's a little bit different.
Yeah, they were making the demand.
Mm-hmm. So, the Board of Education decisions will be made based on facts, policies, and procedures. Might could be enough to stop it from there, because the not individuals' opinions and requests without the clarifying language of it being outside people and knowing that outside is welcome, but it just has to be in the context of facts, policies, and procedures, then stopping there might be appropriate, if that makes sense. Okay.
Thank you. Any other suggestions?
And then sorry,
Dr.
I was just trying to get
Small.
clarity. So stop that one at, review RGSD Board of Education decisions to be made based on facts, policies, and procedures, and then keep the second one in its entirety. Okay, I just want to make sure I was understanding.
Another one, I think we should also keep the second section about collective agreement. I think those are all good points. And of course, in the third section, making sure that the board packet is reviewed by board members before coming to the meeting and submitting questions within an established time frame. And there was, in the document that we did and used in our team of ACE training, there was also a portion that talked about no surprises during meetings or between meetings. And
I like-
so that was one that we discussed, because administration does not like to be caught off guard, and they shouldn't. And so, and we should not come in here and try to catch each other up as well, you know. So I think that's some language that we can also add to our norms.
Can we say, use collective voices to reach decisions? Honor and respect the vote of the board, that's fine. And then the honoring and supporting, can we change that to honor and support the board decision? Or honor and support board decisions with an S at all times.
Okay. Mhm. And then I think we should also keep the third one under section 3. Administration will release board packets to the RGSD Board of Education within the identified time frame. Another one that was also in our workshop that I circled that day is we will not disparage other board members or discuss personal disputes in public. I thought that might be one we want to add.
Madam Chair, can you restate that?
Mhm. It says, we will not disparage other board members or discuss personal disputes in public. So that is about, when we come here, it's about the business of the board. It's not about how we personally feel about each other or what happens outside. It's about being on our mission here, taking care of the business of the district for the students and for moving the district forward, and leaving our personal, whatever happens outside of how we feel about things personally, or each other, leaving that out of our decision making.
Yes, yes. Madam Chair, I did want to, go back to collective agreement.
Okay.
I think the honoring and support, language, as far as the board decision, I think that, I don't know how to clarify it, but, there needs to be something added and we're saying in one instance that we're gonna make these decisions based on facts, policies, and procedures. But when we don't make a decision based on facts, policies, and procedures, me personally, if that's known, I'm not gonna honor and support the board decision, and that's gonna violate our norm. So this honor and support needs to be attached to something that aligns with the decision being based on facts, policies, and procedures. Because if it's not, then it's a contradiction to honor something that is in violation of those items there. So honoring and support board decisions align with facts, policies, and procedures at all times.
So I was looking, and I understand
Yeah.
the point you're making, but I was looking for the one in this document that spoke to, and I didn't circle it, so I'm gonna have to go back through it, but it was about collective voice, but it had little different language to it.
Isn't it the policy that when the board makes a decision, that we support that decision? It's not, I support the decisions that the board makes that I like, or I support the decision that the board makes that I agree with. It's, I support the decision of the board. And that's when I don't like it, that's when I don't agree. It is the decision of the board, and that is what I support.
Oh, what did I see? I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that, Dr. Coleman, in the policy, the language that you just used. I know it's understood, but I'm trying to find.
Madam Chair, you talking about our board policy?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm in is it in BBF or is it in somewhere else, Shane? But I'm looking for the language in this one too, because I read it here.
Is it, no, Monica, what we were talking about, I mean, Madam Chair, what you were talking about, is that on the one that says board member voting or action on? Oh, she's looking at hers, okay, ours, okay.
No, I was looking at both of them.
Oh, okay.
So Ms. Morreal, that one, under board member voting or action on agenda,
Uh-huh. I was just trying to see if that fits kind of the shoes.
yeah, so that one, Ms. Morreal talks about, and I like this one also because it talks about us respecting each other's vote and opinion. When I think about that one, it's more about, even if I didn't vote with you or agree with how you
Right.
voted, we still good. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Like,
Yeah.
we don't hold a grudge. That one, that's what that one speaks to,
Right.
about.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought you were.
Yeah, but I was looking for the one that talks about, once we make a decision as a board, the majority makes a decision, then we support that decision. That's the one I was looking for. And then also, Dr. May, one of the, in this document, one of the bullet points is we will model Robert's Rules of Order, conduct ourselves professionally, and use our time efficiently and constructively. That might.
Something for the Robert's Rules of Order pointed to our norms. Madam Chair, I think the point that you were making is a bit more that we would, respect the individual,
Decisions of the board,
Mhm.
or whether it's the vote or whatever, but the individual decision of the board, because I believe in the past, people have been guilty of vote shaming, which is something that we should steer against. But the point of a contradiction of honoring a decision, you honor the decision. I think the honoring of the decision is that once something is made, then that's it. You honor that, but it is also a point of making it clear that those decisions should not violate board policies and so forth. So is and is together, but it is a distinct difference because, you know,
The lang-
that's dishonorable if you violated the board policy.
right,
It's not an individual board decision, because the board is not individual. Board is collective. That decision, those decisions that are made are a collective decision. The question that what we're talking about here is when the board has made a decision, whether you agree or not, because the policy is that when the board makes a decision, the first thing we were taught in all those training classes, that when the board makes a decision, whether you agree with it or not, you can stick by that decision. And you can even say, although the board decided that the carpet should be gray, I really wanted it to be yellow, but I support the board's decision for gray carpet. We can't twist this so that you can go back and say, but since I didn't agree with that, or I didn't like that, then it's not policy, so I'm not gonna agree with, no, once the board makes a decision, that is the decision, and it is a collective decision.
So I'll go back to one of um, some of the language in the document, which talks about, Dr. May talked about vote shaming, but it says unless otherwise dictated by policy or statute, when a vote is taken upon any measure before the board with a quorum being present, a majority of votes cast determines the outcome. We respect the right of individual board members to vote as they determine to be in the best interest of the district. However, we expect each board member to support the decision of the majority vote.
That's it, thank you.
So I think that language encompasses a lot. As, for me, just being respectful of how someone chooses to vote. However, I understand Dr. May's point that if something is voted on that's not necessarily board policy, she would have a difficult time supporting that. That's because it's in violation, and I don't, and as a board, just in all full transparency, I don't think we do that a lot, but we have done that since I've been on the board, and not, I don't think it was intentional, but you just didn't know the policy, didn't know.
But
what was in the
also, you
policy.
can't,
So
for
we
instance,
fix
if we're
it.
reporting to MSBA,
Mhm.
and we come across something and we voted as a board, and then when we get up to go to MSBA to report, you stand up and say something totally opposite of what we decided. You can't do that.
You're speaking about the delegate
Yes.
situation. Understood. Okay, all right. So do we have any more norms that, I think what we had, actually, I thought what we had were pretty good. This one, okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. And actually, it was so many. That was, yeah, okay. Yeah, that was, I had a lot in that, in that section. This one is, our discussions will always be respectful, focusing upon solving problems through a collaborative process, culminating with all members supporting the majority decision of the board and actively working towards its implementation. And there was another one I had circled on here. We strive to ensure no board member is marginalized due to differences in opinion, style, experience, or any other factor.
Yes. Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think that, maybe the implementation of one aspect of the norms or policies impact the other. So I'm gonna give you an example. If we are reading board policies and we're reading it with fidelity, we won't make a decision that is in violation of it. If we don't do that, there's a possibility that we will. any event that we do, it's not that the decision itself is not being honored. It's the fact that a policy has been violated. So we cannot say that the policy says that you respect the decision of the board and dismiss the policy that said that we should have executed a decision in a particular manner. So with the example that was made, if we decide on orange carpeting and we omitted to see that the policy said that we can only do green, what is there to honor? We dishonored our policy by not reviewing it and seeing that it said green or not doing the process of suspending it. So that's the distinct point that I'm making, is that we have to abide by our policies to not contradict another one. And I think it satisfies that norm if we do that. If we just abide by our policies as legislators, then we're good.
Okay, so what's the language, Dr. May?
The language would be, my add-on with the honoring part was the addition of the honor and support the board decisions that are based on facts, policies, and procedures.
The board doesn't make any decisions that are not based on fact, policies, or decisions. I'm not gonna give on this. I'm not gonna let you twist this so that it benefits you when you don't agree.
Well, that's a norm violation that was just done.
No,
So that's an
no
example.
violation, because you want to twist the norm
So
to satisfy.
point of order, in order to speak, you have to be recognized by the chair, so that way we can keep order in the meeting. So Dr. Coleman, did you want to continue?
Well, what
on?
I'm saying is, we cannot twist the policy. If, as a board, your policy is that when your board votes on something, when they make a decision, you support that decision. You don't go out into the public. You don't go out to different organizations and say the opposite. Even when you did not agree, you say, hey, although I did not agree, this was the decision that the board made. And so I honor that decision. But you can't, for instance, in the delegate assembly, stand up and the board has said, as our delegate, you represent us. You represent Riverview Gardens School District. You don't represent yourself. When I stand up there in front of that delegate committee, I'm not standing up as Nikita. They don't call it the delegate committee of citizens in the district. They call it a representative of Riverview Gardens School District. So whatever I say has to be representative of what Riverview Gardens School Board said, not Nikita's opinion. So even if I did not agree, because Riverview Gardens School Board said, that's what I stand before the delegate assembly, and I say I don't vote contrary to what we said in the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Jackson? And then Dr. May, we'll go back to you. Okay.
Madam Chair, yes, I understand this conversation is very important, but we've been on this conversation for 15 minutes. Is there any way that we can table this until the next meeting so that we can move forward? I forgot what I was supposed to say. I
Okay,
have my book at home, but I'm gonna bring it
Okay.
next time, but there's a statement I'm supposed to make
okay.
so that we can stop the
Okay.
conversation.
So I think we're actually at the end of it, Ms. Jackson. If you don't think so, then we can keep going, but Dr. May, go ahead, we can.
I was just gonna say, because this the work session, this where we do all of this, so I know. But I think my last debate on that, because we only have so many, is that I am not making a point of dishonoring a decision that the board makes. I'm talking specifically to the board violating another policy and us saying that we should honor it, knowing that it's a policy violation. If we're adding the language that the decision would be based on facts, policies, and procedures, then it addresses all situations related to this particular area.
Okay. All right, and we will take a vote on these norms. So is there anything else, anyone else, Ms. Jackson? I'm sorry.
I
Ms.
just wanted to
Moore.
ask, I really thought that the information that we received at that training was adequate and, really good information, and I believe that he said that we could adopt it.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to know how the board felt about us adopting this, making a few changes to it, since he gave us permission, since he wrote it, to adopt it. I think that everything that's in here would be beneficial for us. Even with the norms that we create, I really think that this would be beneficial. And I just wanted to know how everybody felt about, even though we're gonna do separate norms, us adopting this as well, and just, since he gave us permission that we could, and, just change the things that, have the other name or whatever, and just incorporate our name.
Thank you for that suggestion.
I just thought that would.
Ms. Jackson, did you have something? else?
Yes,
Yeah.
while we're doing the norms, there, just like with a kid, there's consequences. What are we gonna put in place so that when board members break those rules and break those norms, what are the consequences? How are we gonna add that to the norms? Because we have to have, if we expect it, we have to have some kind of consequences. We can't just say we expect them to do this and do that, and we continually don't do it, and then there's no consequences.
Thank you all. Dr. May, you're looking at me. You have
Yeah,
something
'cause
else
I'm-
to add? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, so now this is a different topic, so I want to enter debate on consequences. I do think that we should have a system that I mentioned before as far as direct communication with individuals. There are points of order, and I guess the decorum of the meeting is determined by the chair. So I would say that for a consequence, that we follow the process of censuring, which means that a censure is when you formally as a board direct expectations for behavior towards a person with expected outcomes that translate to a hearing and impeachment. And that is the formal process for elected officer, so that we can show the seriousness of that expectation. So it outlines the expectation, what will happen if it continues, and what next steps are. And then that will be how we handle non-decorous behavior and other issues that repeatedly occur.
Okay. So with that, Shay, if you could make a note, can we check with MSBA and see if any other district has a policy that deals with that? Thank you. Okay, so it sounds to me like we are going to table this, and this is not something we have to do tonight and finish, and it's really good conversation, and I think it will really put us on track as a board, and so we can table this into our next work session, because our next meeting is official board meeting. Shay?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll make some of the changes. That way we can bring back a document with some of the
Okay, thank you. And I really also like Ms. Moore, real suggestion about this document. There's a lot here, and so I think it's good. I was hoping that we would keep it short and just hit the main points, but there really are a lot of good things in here. And so as a board, if we want to use this document, then it would be great if we come back to our next work session and strike out what we don't want and have discussion about that and what we would like to include, because there is a lot here and it's all good. Like it really is good for a board governing itself, All right. So we're going to move to our next item, which is Riverview Gardens School District Committees.
Thank you. Our next item up for discussion is our Riverview Garden School District Committees, as our board chair has already said. Making this presentation is Ms. Shay Fields. And this is in conjunction with policy BCE. And Shay, you're gonna need a microphone too.
Dr. Patton. This item has been presented, at a previous board meeting, and it is being presented again to allow board members to review the various committees and make a decision on whether or not you want to continue on a committee that you previously been on, maybe last school year, or the school year prior, or to pick a new committee to serve on. And we are aware that some of the committees may or may not have their dates at this time, but we are working diligently to make sure that we have dates for the upcoming school year. We'll have options of attending the meetings in person and virtually. Are there any questions, or you can engage in a conversation, or we can go through the list? It's up to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Shea. Okay, so what we will do, hopefully all of the board members have had a chance to look at this document. The thing that we need to make sure is that we don't have more than 3 board members on a committee, because then, that constitutes a board meeting, a quorum. So we want to make sure that we don't do that. And so, what my suggestion is that we just poll each board member, tell us what committee you're interested in, and then Ms. Shea will record that. And that is how we will sign up for committees. Most of the committee chairs are here, the assistant superintendents are directors. So if you have any questions about meeting dates and times, if they're here, they will supply that information, okay? So who would like to sign up first? We can go in any order.
I'm trying to bring my computer back up so I can see, or is it on here on the computer, which ones we signed up for?
It is,
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
because I think I was on one just, because we were small then.
I can go through them.
Would you? Yeah, I think.
They're in alphabetical
Yeah, that would help
order,
me.
and I've separated them by district committee and board. So the board committees are first. We have the audit committee, which the audit committee is spearheaded by our CFO, the secretary. And right now we have listed Wanda Lane and Ms. Jackson and Ms. Morgan. The 3 of the listed.
And how many can serve 3, you see?
So
Okay, I'll
we
stay on
want to
there.
continue with that.
I'll stay on there.
Ms. Jackson is on there as treasurer.
okay.
And then we can follow up with Ms. Lane, see if she would like to continue to serve. The next committee would be our calendar committee. And that committee is chaired by Mr. Ford.
Mr. Ford, how often does the calendar committee meet?
We typically meet once a month. But if there are some areas that we need to address that are urgent, then we may call a meeting twice a month. This last time we wanted to make an adjustment to the calendar so that all the administrators could be at the law seminar, also support all of our staff. So those types of times we'll call.
Mr. Ford, can you go into the document and add that information that it's a monthly meeting?
And Madam Chair, currently there are no board members serving on the calendar.
I'll serve.
Okay, so. Ms. Williams.
Any other board members interested in the calendar committee? Okay, we'll move to the next one.
Madam Chair, if I can add just one point of reference for the different committees. You'll see in blue a reference to a policy. That's what determined whether or not it was a board, committee or a district. So if you want additional information as to why, then I would click the link and then you can read a little bit more about it.
Thank you.
The next one would be
Can I ask one question? I believe several of us may have updated a document. It may not be the one that you're looking at. Are you looking at the one that came from the agenda item?
Yes, title RGSD Committee, July 1, 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
the,
then.
right, so Shay separated the board committees from the district committees. The one that was in the email that I sent, that is the board committee list. So that's the one I would like you all to write, how often you meet.
Do I can all put on this one? Sure.
Thank you.
So the next one would be the Community Engagement Committee. And the chairperson for that committee is Mr. Sistrum. And right now we have Dr. Coleman, Ms. Maura Real, and Ms. Wanda Lane serving on that.
I'll stay on that one.
Should I keep going?
Yes. Did you, Ms. Moore will say she'll stay
Ms.
on?
Maura Real did agree. So I'm fine here with Dr. Coleman. And so the next one would be the CSIP committee. The chair for that committee is Dr. Ramsdale. And right now, we do not have a board member.
We have Ms. Dr. Vanelli.
Dr. May.
I'm sorry. Okay. Would any other board members like to be added?
Madam Chair, I can just say, the turnaround committee, when does the turnaround committee meet?
See the turnaround committee.
No, I was just gonna, I was just going to state the committee interest instead of going down. Yeah, I was just gonna say my interest. Uh-huh. No, I was like, no,
I
I
think
was-
this way, Dr. May, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Mhm.
you. This allows us to cover each one rather than skipping back and forth.
well, see, I thought she was asking each person, she started off asking each person what they wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
Which would have meant that they either stayed in what they indicated
Mhm.
or they added something additional, which I'm thinking was actually quicker. So I'm like, I wrote down what I wanted to be added to, but I wanted some additional information in order to decide on that. So the turnaround committee, when do they meet? There you go, Ms. Sharp.
Sharp.
Turnaround committee identified to this date. They are November sixth. Times from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And that those meetings that will be held here. The other meeting will be held on March 26th, 2026 at the same time, same location. Each building will be asked to identify a meeting date specifically for their school, and I have not been able to secure that information, but as soon as I do, I will add that.
Okay, so I would like to be added to that one. And then I wanted to know when the technology committee meets.
It's probably Dr. Larry. And I said it's probably Dr. Larry, but I'm looking for the technology committee. Assessment. Yeah, it's Dr. Larry and she's not here, so we can find that information out.
Okay, so if it's, Ms. Shea, if it's after 4 o'clock, add me to the technology committee. And that concludes my committee. So CSIP, communications, turnaround committee and technology.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to ask, just for clarity, say, what's the maximum committees we could serve on? Cause I know, she got 3, and that's fine, cause I probably end up having 3 too. I just want to make sure I'm not going over.
So I was not able to find anywhere in the
Where we can,
policy
you can
that.
serve on whatever you can make it to. Oh, that's good.
All right, Ms. Shea, we
Yeah.
continue, please. Ms. Shea, you continue, please. Thank you. I want you to keep doing what you were doing,
Yeah.
so that way
And we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the policy review committee, the chairperson is Ms. Jennifer Williams. She's my president of the room, and we meet once a month. And so far, we have Dr. Coleman, who serves on, or any other board members interested.
I'm interested, Shay.
The next one would be the negotiations team. And right now we have Ms. Williams, Dr. Coleman, who is serving, so just two board members right now serving on that particular.
I would like to stay on that committee.
Okay. Any other board members interested? And we'll move right along to the assessment committee, which is chaired by Dr. Tiffany Hunter. Any interest from the board members? We have Ms. Maura Real. Anyone else? I'll definitely share the information with Ms. Lane to determine if she would like to stay on the committee. The next one would be the Code of Conduct and Discipline Committee, chaired by Ms. Tracy Dave. And right now we have Ms. Jackson, who serves on that. Are there any other board members? Okay, Ms. Tisworth or Angie? Anyone else? To the next one, Communications Committee. Dr. Von Elliott, how do you want to, you stand on that one as well? Please turn around, technology possibly, if it's after 4, you're gonna remain on communication. Okay. And then we have Ms. Jackson. I have you down as a member of the Communications Committee. Yes, no, maybe? No. No. We'll take you off. Right? Any other board members?
Ms. Lane has typically been a part of that committee as well.
Okay, curriculum writing, so those are, okay, so. The remaining committees or district committees, did you want to go through the list, Dr. Hill?
No, we don't have to go through the
Not for
list.
district.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so. Oh, well, the other ones are district committees, so. Board members can serve as they like, they would like to. Ms. Jackson?
Yeah.
I was just trying to, sorry. I was just making sure that I'm still on the turnaround committee, because that is a committee I was.
Okay, has every board member had opportunity to sign up for the committees you're interested in serving on? Okay, thank you, Shay, and you'll follow with Ms. Lane.
All right, our next item, I'm sorry. Our next item up for discussion is the Prop S roof replacement for Glasgow Elementary. Making this presentation is Mr. Carl Scheid, and this is in conjunction with policy DJF purchasing. Mr. Scheid?
This group was reaching inside expectancy, automatic, so forth. That's reaching the point where all to be prepared. So we did utilizing the Omnia Partners purchasing co-op. We had a walkthrough in the spring where we had some pre-qualified roofers come proposals for this. We received 3 proposals. Proposal that best meets By shade roofing, $394,207. So, what we're seeking at the board meeting on August 26th. Placement. The work would be performed in September. So, it's late September. Should not be a disruption to the school. Take any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shai, just keep the microphone on. The next item up is the RGHS and Facilities Food Service Paving Project. Will you present that item as well? And that item is in conjunction with the same policy, DJF purchasing.
Yes, this is paving work that's for both at the high school, as well as facilities service. 001. Start with the high school. This is the drive that runs behind back to the high school. Area connecting the area by the football stadium backwards to the fire lane, perhaps around the corner. So we currently run our buses through that area. There's a small section of drive that exists between the parking lot and start fire lane that has deteriorated, cracked, sinking, and so forth. What needs to be done is comprehensive tear out of that area, rebuilding the base, maybe that drive more sustainable than it has been. So there's one piece of the project. This work will be performed probably late September, early October. We would be coordinating with the high school administration on this because work will take approximately a week. So strategic schedules minimize the impact on the high school and have to work out some and a few buses at the same time. So I would coordinate the high school team. The other piece of this is parking lot of the facilities service area. So what you know is as the facilities building over on Wilson Park and Domino's, that's where we keep all vehicles, except all our deliveries district. So the pavement there is cracked, something at this point that it's actually turning into gravel more so than pavement. We have challenges just moving our forklift around it and so forth. So it's definitely time that we put an overlay on this spot. So it's been, I think this area is probably been in excess of 30 years. So two projects of the high school drive is approximately $72,348.87. The facilities is $83,300. Take any questions you have.
All right. Our next item up, thank you, Mr. Scheid. Our next item up for discussion are the Memorandum of Understanding for the Student Services Department. Making this presentation is Ms. Deirdre Liddell, the Executive Director of Student and Community Support, and this is in conjunction with Policy DJF. Ms. Liddell.
Help expand the success of our students and provide vital services for them. Behavioral health response is the MOU that we've had in the past that I bring before you again that helps with immediate mental health services. Many times we call in EHR when we need additional assistance for scholars. A red circle is a new MOU. So this MOU will provide tutoring, mentoring, health services along with some parenting classes, as well as additional wraparound services with food digital assistance. Youth in Need is another MOU that we have. Youth in Need provides therapists within all of our schools. And then the police athletically is something that I brought to you before in the past. This is a program that will bring our St. Louis County Police in that are coaches. And what they do is they build positive relationships with law enforcement within our school communities. The outlook or the goal for the police athletic league coming in would be in the Highland area, since our scholars lack additional things to do around that area. I also have St. Louis area food bank that we utilize in all of our schools that have our grocery stores, as well as they provide a resource for us on each third Thursday of the month, where families are able to come and pick up food at Gibson Elementary. We also have our Healthy Kids Express virtual care that we utilize as our overflow for therapeutic services, as well as the Little Bit Foundation, which provides a multitude of resources for the Riverview Park District. It is recommended that the board approve the attached MOUs for the 25-26 school year. Are there any questions in regards to all of them? I do have a question.
Von Elliott?
It's just a simple inquiry, because I think that I saw one MOU that was until like 2028, and I wasn't sure. I was trying to find a policy that speaks to the length of time we have to have them, versus that length of time, but I wasn't able. Go ahead.
It's in policy DJF, the purchasing policy. It just said, it states that, if we're going to, renew it, we need to break it back in enough time within, like you said, like 30 days, but it's in DJF, the language that you're speaking. It references, contract.
Any other questions? All right, our next item up for discussion is the supplemental health care contract. Ms. Liddell will also be making this presentation, and this is in conjunction with policy EBBA. Ms. Liddell.
For a while in our district, they provide substitute nurses, both LPN and RN for LPN and RN for our school district. The purpose of having the supplemental health care contract is to provide any gaps in service for nurses that we don't have covered for our school buildings. So at this time, we've been working diligently to make sure that all of our school buildings are covered, to make sure that we have a nurse in every single building at the beginning of the school year. However, we are just a little short, but if there is any time that any of our nurses resign or anything in the middle of the year, we'll be able to call them in, and they'll provide a nurse within, the next day for us. So supplemental health contract, currently for registered nurses is $63.35 per hour, and for LPN $58 per hour. We do have a budgeted cost of $325,000, and we're asking that we don't exceed that. And it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the contract for supplemental health care later in this meeting, to help us provide staffing services for vacancies that we may have throughout.
Ms. Liddell, in the past, we've had at least 6 to 8 supplemental health care nurses. How many will we need to have for next school year? Okay.
Just depending on how it goes.
Any questions? And Ms. Liddell, I'm not sure if this is a question for you or Mr. Ford. What is our current salary range for our RNs and LPNs? Okay. that for the LPNs? For us?
Microphone, is your microphone on, Mr. Fuller?
Also for RNs? What-
What are you talking about, for one coming into the district or just total? So if they came into the district, it would be for an LPN, it would be 2018. We're trying to scroll down to 2673 for a new person coming into the district. For an RN coming into the district, it would be $28.32. $37.81. And then for an RN with a bachelor's degree, it would be $29.15 to $38.60. That would be for you.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay, thank you. I also do want to mention that our supplemental health care nurses are not getting benefits as well, so that kind of explains the difference. Moving to the next item, the federal programs Title I budget is up for discussion. Making this presentation is Ms. Tracy Nave, the Assistant Superintendent of Leadership and Accountability, and this is in conjunction with policy DDAB. Ms. Nave?
Evening, Board of Education, Superintendent Patton, colleagues and community. I come before you this evening to discuss an amendment to the federal budget that was presented to you on July 8th. On July 31st, we did receive Title II, Part A, Teacher, Principal, Training, and Recruiting Funds. At that time, we came before you and told you that we did not receive any funding for that Title II, Part A allocation. Since then, Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has provided allocation for our district in the amount of $472,944 for the fiscal year 2026. These federal grants provide supplemental funds for, as I said, teacher, principal, and training and recruiting funds. This amount will cover the cost of costs associated with instructional coaches in 4 of our buildings, as well as other material supplies and professional development. This amount is $48,446 less than we received last year, but this could be in accordance with any carryover that we may have. So at this time, I'm recommending on behalf of federal programs and leadership and accountability that the Board of Education accept and approve the immediate use of available Title II grant funding. A recommendation for approval will be presented later in the meeting. Are there any questions?
Yes, Dr. May?
Yes, will the addition of these funds prompt rehiring, or were the individual, as far as personnel, placed in other positions? What's the impact of the personnel piece to the money now being in place? Did we let them go and now we gotta hire them back? Like, I just was curious.
There's no impact to the hiring.
So when we talked about that item, there was a time where those funds were withheld. And we talked about options to move them to a different type of funding. The state did not allow at that time for us to do any rewriting of the funding grants at that time. And then before we had to make a move before the start of school, the federal government decided to issue out those funds. And so since they issued those funds, we did not have to lose any staff members. We did not have to change any staff members into a different budget. And so everything remained the way it was.
Okay,
In terms of those staff.
thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? And also, board members, if you could keep your mics on, technology is asking that you keep your mic on.
Okay.
So if you have it off, if you could turn it on, even if you're not speaking. And thank you.
All right, our next item up for discussion is the Live School PBIS app. Making this presentation is Dr. Jared Smith. He's the principal of Riverview Gardens High School. And this item is in conjunction with JEA and JED. Dr. Smith.
Good evening, school board, superintendent, colleagues, and community. I'm coming before you asking for renewal of the Live School app that we use at the high school for PBIS. The Live School EdTech platform is an app that teachers and students have on their phone. It's web-based, so there's nothing that anybody has to like download, or there's no software that needs to be added to computers or anything like that. But this app allows teachers to give points to students for things like coming to class on time, and we just added new pieces. So this year it'll have, they'll be able to get points for following the cell phone policy, for having their student IDs. It allows for students to have QR codes on the back of their IDs, which encourages ID use, which we always encourage at our school. And the kids loved it last year. It was a great way for students to earn points that they could use at our Rams store to get Rams gear, as well as they were able to even, if you saved up enough points, you were able to use points to buy tickets to dances or concessions at basketball games, different things like that. It's all part of our overall PBIS efforts and our overall efforts to improve our SEL at Riverview Gardens High School. So I am recommending, or I'm asking for a recommendation to renew the Live School PBIS app for an amount that does not exceed $7,500. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question. How does this work with the cell phone policy?
So they can still have it where it's web-based, so they could have it on their district issued device.
Okay, like their Chromebook or something
Right.
like that? Okay, got it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Oh, no, Dr. Smith, stay right there. I think you might be up next. Our next item up for discussion is School Connect. Making this presentation is Mr. Jared Smith, and this is in conjunction with policy JFCL. Dr. Smith.
Good evening again. The next item that I have is schoolconnect.net is another web-based platform that we use for SEL, or our social emotional learning curriculum. We mostly use it in our freshman academy. So our freshmen, they have a period. One of their class periods is an advisory period, and that advisory period is used to teach character education, social emotional learning skills, teaching them how to respect themselves, respect others, how to build relationships with staff members, with each other, different things like that. And we use School Connect in conjunction with 7 Mindsets. Because our freshmen, they have a 90-period advisory. Most of the live school lessons are right around 30 minutes. So School Connect, which has a lot of the same lessons as Live School does, acts as a supplement to that. So they have enough curriculum to fill out that whole 90 minutes. It was a big hit with our freshmen last year, and we're looking to bring it back in this year. So I'm recommending that the board approve the renewal of schoolconnect.net for an amount not to exceed $5,300. Any questions?
How long you said that this is attached to the 90-minute advisory period?
Yes, ma'am.
How long are the class periods?
90 minutes.
All class periods are 90 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that's a long time, okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Our next item up for discussion is Create a Loop. MOU. Making this presentation is Ms. Tanya Ross. She's the ELA and Science Curriculum Coordinator, Secondary Science. Look, you clapped for him last time. He's clapping for you this time.
Thank you,
Can you
Dr.
all
Harris.
just get over each other, please? This is in conjunction with policy IGA, basic instructional programs. Ms. Ross?
Good evening, Riverview Garden School Board colleagues and community. Tonight, I'm offering up for renewal, the Create a Loop program, which in a nutshell provides computer science to our scholars. We will have 3 schools that will participate in the computer science. That's Koch Elementary, and then our 2 middle schools. Computer science is where we're dealing with coding, we're dealing with AI at the middle school level, safety, digital literacy where there's problem solving, the stories that are read in class. The students are set up in a situation and then provided an engineering opportunity to build to solve a problem related to a particular narrative or informational text. Also, you may be familiar with gaming. All of that is associated with computer science, and it also puts us in compliance with Senate Bill 681. That comes at no cost to the district. Are there any questions?
Ms. Ross, can you speak to how our students will have access to that program?
Yes, so at the elementary level, students will be selected K through 5 to participate in the program with the building leadership and teachers. And then at the secondary level, it is offered as an elective. The program is put on a wheel, and done just like PE, art, and music.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Are there other questions? Okay, thank you, Ms. Ross.
Thank you.
Our next item up for discussion is the University of Missouri St. Louis Apprentice Pathways Making MOU. Making this presentation is Mr. Travis Ford. Mr. Ford?
Colleagues, community. Today you have the University of Missouri St. Louis Apprenticeship Pathway MOU. Riverview Gardens has been committed to developing strategic partnerships with our universities and our colleges in order to create a recruitment pipeline for certified and non-certificated staff members. This MOU focuses on an apprenticeship partnership with the University of Missouri St. Louis that establishes a structured program designed to strengthen our teacher pipeline through this apprenticeship. In this program, these apprentices will earn Missouri teaching certifications while serving as teachers of record within our district. It also ensures that they're getting real-time impact in our classrooms. There are 2 pathways in this program. One pathway is called the teacher residency. This pathway is a graduate level program and is focused on those who have a bachelor's degree in a certain content area and need to fulfill those education requirements. The Finish Line program is the second program. It's an undergraduate level program. This program is designed for those who may have an associate's degree or those who are starting out. They'll get those necessary requirements and classes, and then when they're at those final stages within 12 credit hours of completing that program, they'll be able to be hired on under a provisional certification. The program covers lots of certification options, and those apprenticeships will also get mentoring while they're within our district, but they'll get ongoing professional development provided by the University of Missouri St. Louis. This program is in alignment with our C-STEP goal under staffing and workforce strategy number 4, action step number 5, and it helps us reach our long-term goals of cultivating diversity and having highly effective educators within our classroom. This is at no cost to the district, so it is recommended by the Human Resource Office approval of this MOU student as presented at no cost to the district. Are there any questions?
Dr. May?
So these individuals are currently in school and not employed with us. Is that? This kind of current.
They've been extending this and working with our district. These were individuals who are staff members who wanted to go back to school and chose the University of Missouri St. Louis. those staff members work within our district. They may have worked in a long-term substitute capacity, and some of them were able to get, well, last year we were able to hire on too, once they got to the point they were able to get provisional certifications. Then also by having this apprenticeship, it opens the University of Missouri up to start offering us candidates. Last year, well, coming out of last year, as they presented this MOU, they started reaching out saying, we have a candidate who's finishing up, who's going to be eligible for a provisional. Would you be interested in possibly interviewing them? And we're willing to sign off on their provisional certification with the state. And so this will give us a structured program where they'll take our candidates who want to go back to school, but then also they'll feed us candidates who are finishing their program and would like to come to River.
Okay, I think I was, thinking about whether, there's a point even before that provisional that they could enter as subs.
Well, they could enter as substitute.
Okay,
They
but-
can enter as substitute teacher, but it wouldn't be until they get into those last 12 credit hours where they can get that provisional certification. And so that's when they would get it, unless they already have a degree in that content area, and they may be able to come under a TAC, a temporary authorized certification. That's one where they can get that. And so with both those alternative pathways, the university has to be willing to sign off on it, and then the district has to be willing to hire that person. So it's a partnership that has to happen. Anyway, this kind of just puts us into that partnership. We're working hand.
Okay, yeah, so I'm familiar with the TAC, but I was just thinking about them subbing even before they get to that point, because then we'll have some more qualified subs
And we
as
we have,
well,
I
yeah.
believe, we have 3 substitutes who are in this program right now.
Good, okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
I have a question.
So, Mr. Ford, do we know how many other districts are participating in the similar programs with UMSL? And I'm asking because long time ago, when they used to have programs like this, the students at UMSL, they were given a choice of which districts they wanted to go to for the residency or for the finish line program, but they weren't called that back then. And so with, our district was not a first choice district. And so are the candidates that enroll in these districts, are they still getting a choice to go to other districts? How is it working in terms of recruiting those candidates to come to Riverview Garden?
For how many districts are part? I know they
Okay.
have many partner districts.
Mhm.
And I know that the candidates always have an option. They always have an option of where they want to go. But by having this partnership, they'll start presenting Riverview Gardens and pushing for Riverview Gardens. We have several, because they have come to meet with us. We have some other programs that we've been working with them. We are becoming one of their top programs that they want to recommend. And we have a lot of candidates who want to come to Riverview. We also have a lot of staff members who may be substitutes already on our IAs who want to go back and after having some experience in the classroom or, covering as a sub, want to get that certification. And they go, and they choose us because they want to be with us from.
Okay, that's great. And do you know if UMSL is offering any type of financial assistance for those candidates that are part of these programs? Okay.
Hopefully soon I'll be able to come that will offer something like this. But we have brought several programs that either offer tuition discounts or they offer some type of scholarships with some preliminary meetings with another department. Also, they're willing to offer some tuition discounts. So we're working to see how much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes my items for discussion.
Thank you. We will move to our items for action. I request a motion for our items for action.
Madam Chair, I so move. I need to state the motion out. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve, item A, supplemental healthcare contract, and item B, federal programs Title II-A, budget amendment. Second.
Okay, the motion has been made by Ms. Moore, Real, and seconded by Ms. Jackson to approve the supplemental healthcare contract and federal programs Title II A budget amendment. All in favor?
Madam Chair, point of order.
Mhm.
Can we call for the discussion?
Discussion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Could you just state what the appendix says for the health? Okay.
Appendix A, or the attachment A, was missing from the original, contract that was scanned. With that, when I found it, it was, our job description for our nurses to make sure that our job description matches the job description of the supplemental health nurse, so what they doing when they come to our district.
Okay, so they will basically be expected to do the same things as our actual nurses would be doing. Any event that we hire some nurses, we will terminate that contract, or what is the expectation?
We won't necessarily terminate it, but let it lay dormant unless we have another situation. So if we fill all of our nurses completely, then what it'll do is it'll lay dormant. However, if we have a nurse that resigns at the end of the year or, right before school ends, we'll make sure that we call supplemental health so we can get a nurse into that building to go ahead and finish out the school year to make sure that our buildings don't go out.
And I didn't ask this earlier, but is what they're asking in pay competitive with what they would get if they were hired with us, or is ours less?
So it's less, however, we have benefits,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
but it's also not competitive to when you think about hospitals and different things like that. So a lot of times, we get nurses that are retired, we get nurses that, that want the same schedule as their children, so different things like that. So, but we are looking at some different options, and we're looking at what other districts are doing to make sure that we're competitive with other districts, so we don't have to use this contract.
Okay. Madam Chair, I would like to amend the motion to add approval with the upload of attachment A for the public to complement the contract.
Do we have a second?
You state like what you said, so
So the contract mentions attachment A, and it was not included. So I'm amending the motion so that that can be included, because we are approving it without that being a part of the public document nor made available to us. So they will have to upload it after this point to go with that contract.
I'll second.
Okay. It has been moved by Dr. May and seconded by Ms. Moore Real to approve the supplemental healthcare contract, this part of the motion with the added Appendix A. And then also to approve the federal programs Title II A budget amendment. Shay, roll call vote, please. I'm sorry, is it all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion's passed. Next, I would like to request a motion to adjourn our open session meeting.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it has been motioned by Ms. Morrill and seconded by Ms. Jackson. All in favor?
Man, just calling for the question again. It was one clarifying thing on the policies. What is the timeline to expedite them based on the requirements?
It's embedded in the, the item, but there are some that will be in place for the 25-26 school year, some that will have to be in place for 26-27, and then the following year. So those that need to be in place this school year will be in place by the deadline that is on the item itself. And then we will move with 26-27 and 27-28 in the upcoming school years.
Okay, I didn't know if we needed to have them done by the end of this month as an example.
No,
Okay.
no. I
Okay.
think I think the cell phone policy may, and that's already in place. We've already had a cell phone policy in place. We will update that policy, but we already have a cell phone policy in place.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Have a great night. Be safe going home.
Back to that.